Hey everybody, Greg Sadler here. It is the 1st of October, so time for another monthly update video. I'm going to talk about what went on in September and what we've got lined up in October, which is going to be a very, very busy month if everything happens as it's planned. I always like to begin by highlighting three big things. So big thing number one, I've got a poll that's running. I'm looking for input about a new online one-day seminar, which is going to focus on Martin Heidegger's shorter works. I've already got one picked out, and I'm looking for input for the other two that I'll be tackling during that seminar. Link is below, so if you want to participate in that, I'd very much appreciate it. Second big thing is I am going to be experimenting this month, and I stress that word experimenting, with new kinds of live streams that I'll be doing, definitely using the YouTube channel and StreamYard and maybe some other venues through that as well, but also Substack and probably Patreon as well. I haven't used these features before. I want to start seeing how they work. And, as always, there's going to be a learning curve involved with that. Big thing number three. So I am gearing up for the year ahead. I'm opening up more capacity in my schedule for doing public speaking, which I'll, in many cases do locally or remotely, but sometimes I travel for if people invite me in. So if you are interested in bringing me in as a speaker for your organization, your business, your club, your department, whatever it happens to be, keynote speaking at a conference, anything, so long as it's within my areas of competence, reach out to me. You can write me at my business address, greg@reasonio.com, and we'll get the ball rolling on that. So let's talk now about the previous month. September did not go exactly as planned, in part due to some illness on my part. And, it's kind of sapped my energy. I didn't get to everything that I'd wanted to do. So also some scheduling issues. So we didn't do classic metal class. Scott and I couldn't make our schedules line up. We also didn't do Worlds of Speculative Fiction. Took a break from that. But I did do my usual Ask Me Anything session, which went quite well. And I did two videos responding to Michael Burns's video about is YouTube philosophy broken? My answer was, well, kind of not. And in my case, not exactly. And we did some video premieres with those, with some live chat. That was really a lot of fun. Dan and I got together for Wisdom for Life radio show. We did episode 101, where we discussed our favorite books and why they are our favorite books. We started the Aristotle on the Moral Virtues class. We had our first class session just last weekend, and it went quite well. Went a little bit over time. Usually I allot 90 minutes for these, but we went about 2 hours because there were so many interesting questions that the participants brought. And some people have joined actually since the class started, which is interesting to see. I've been doing my academic classes as well. I'm teaching 2 at Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design and 1 at Marquette University, and those are going along quite well. Spent a lot of time doing stuff at or with the cat shelter that I volunteer with, Almost Home Cat Rescue. We have a huge event coming up in this month that I'll tell you about when we get to the October section, so that's a lot of prep time. I've also been doing a lot of writing, as you may have seen in my Substack, including, a new Letters to a Young Philosopher, which is for paid subscribers. Eventually, those are going to get bundled into a book, and a lot of client work, a lot of tutorial and philosophical counseling work over this last month. There's a lot of people who need some help in one way or another. Video production. You may have noticed a lot of core concept videos coming out. That is because I need those for my classes. I provide them as resources to my students, and then, you get to see them as well. So I've had core concept videos last month that came out on Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan, on the correspondence between Eloise and Abelard, some on Seneca's letters that I hadn't gotten to before, and I've just started on an entire sequence on Thomas Aquinas, the portions of the Summa Theologiae that have to do specifically with love, because I'm teaching this class on love and friendship. We also, published a Wisdom for Life recording. I did a couple Sadler's stories videos, releasing one of them just in the last few days. And I got to a book review video, which I'm quite happy about. I'd wanted to do more of them, but one is at least better than none. Podcast work. Well, I did do some Mind and Desire podcast episodes for my Substack subscribers. I also did some on a text that I covered a long time ago, but I hadn't released podcast episodes on. Philip Jose Farmer's incredibly important and great world-building novella, The Lovers. And then a whole slew of podcast episodes on Cicero's On the Nature of the Gods, Book 2, which presents the Stoic cosmology and arguments for God's existence and for divine providence. So that is what went on in September. What do we have going on in October? Well, it's a packed month as far as events go, because I'm going to be doing not only my own events, but also participating in some online conferences and conversations and things like that. So on the 4th at noon Central Time, we'll kick off with my usual Ask Me Anything session. You can show up and ask your questions, and I'll answer them as best as I can. Doesn't have to be strictly about philosophy. I get a lot of questions about other matters as well. Then later that day, we follow that up with a philosophy chat at 2 p.m. Central Time for my Patreon supporters. A nice little perk for them. It's more intimate. It's a video conferencing rather than just chat conversation. And then that following Sunday, if you're here in the greater Milwaukee area, or if you want to come in from somewhere else, we have a big fundraiser going on the south side of Milwaukee in Franklin, which is one of the suburbs, at a bowling alley. We have Oktoberfest, right? It's like our cat-related Oktoberfest. There'll be bowling. I'll be actually going around doing the 50-50 raffle. It's going to be a great time there. We've got all sorts of other cool stuff lined up. And that will be starting at 11:30. But I'll, of course, be there for setup before that, and that's going to be a great time. Then on the 11th at noon Central Time, we will be resuming Worlds of Speculative Fiction. I will be talking about Ken Liu's second Dandelion Dynasty novel, Wall of Storms, which is really amazing. I hope you can join me for that. It'll be a video premiere with live chat. I will be there during the entire video premiere, answering questions, addressing comments, engaging in conversation, and then we will shift to Zoom to continue that conversation. On the 25th of October, there's a big online conference that I have been asked to be one of the speakers at with the Plato's Academy Center. It's beginning at noon Central Time, and it's the philosophy of love and friendship. I will be giving a presentation, I want to say about 3/4 of the way through, on Aristotle and his conception of three kinds of friendship, whether we can actually live up to that, and what some other authors like Cicero, Plutarch, and Seneca have to say that might help us out in that respect. That's a free conference that you can attend if you want to. Linked for it is below. On the 26th, Scott and I will be hosting another classic metal class. The topic this time around is going to be women in heavy metal. Are they just treated as objects or subjects? What's going on with that? How does it change? Is there a kind of necessary gender imbalance or misogyny, or is that something that we can move past as well? There's one other event, and it's not completely confirmed, but we're getting close. On the 22nd, which is a Wednesday at 8 p.m., we will hopefully be having a conversation about the late, great Alasdair MacIntyre, his work After Virtue, and beyond that, with the 52 Great Ideas group, which is hosting Comprehensivist Wednesdays. So hopefully we'll be doing that. Keep an eye out for announcements about that. So those are all the events. That's all that stuff going on. I'm going to be continuing writing projects, teaching my classes, gearing up for the Heidegger seminar, which will happen in November after the Aristotle class is done. Also gearing up for speaking in 2026. As I mentioned earlier, I've got a lot of video work I need to do as well. Book reviews, I've got books piled up that need to be gotten to, so I got to start cranking those out. The goal is to get one out a week, which might be a little ambitious. Probably do some additional Sadler Stories videos. We're getting close to number 100 for that, so I might put out some sort of call. What do you want to hear about for number 100? I'd like to get to a self-directed study video that I've been wanting to do for a while, maybe another fake quotes video, but I definitely have to do a lot of core concept videos. We've got the ones that we started on Aquinas. I've got to shoot a lot more of those on his conceptions of love. Got some stuff to shoot on Jean-Jacques Rousseau's discourse on the origins of inequality, some stuff to shoot on Jeremy Bentham, and one of his unpublished manuscripts, which has to do with sexual morality. And we'll see what else we can get to. That's already quite a lot. Podcast episodes. Obviously, I'll be doing more Mind and Desire episodes, but I'll also be doing in the Sadler's Lectures podcast. I'll be releasing some podcast episodes on Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan that I've already early released to my Patreon supporters. Some on Seneca, his various letters, the stuff on Eloise and Abelard's correspondence. And then I got a couple one-offs. I've got a Kierkegaard episode on the present age that I never released. That'll be coming out later on this month. But I just released today a one-off on a classic essay on fantasy world building by Paul Anderson of Thud and Blunder, which is really well worth checking out. And so that's what we've got going on. Again, if you're interested in inviting me to be a speaker at your event or conference, or even just to come in and be the main speaker, provide a workshop, go ahead and reach out to me at greg@reasonio.com. Happy to send you my rates and start talking about plans, all of that sort of stuff. Hopefully you can make it to some of these online events. Again, if you're in the greater Milwaukee area, show up to Oktoberfest. It's free to get in, and it costs if you want a bowl or stuff like that. But if you're in the area, come by and say hello. You'll be supporting a really worthy cause. Hopefully you can come to some of these other events. Hopefully you participate in the Heidegger poll if you've got an interest in his work. Otherwise, have a great month, and I will see you down the line.